Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing the top 10 Kickstarters of the month. Before it gets started, we do have a couple of Kickstarters from Lifeline Comics. Slice of Life, it's about an anime character comes to life and falls in love with a high school cheerleader. And finally, the cheerleader does get the girl in this issue. And we also have Little Mermaid and the Pirate Queen. We have Arya, who has her legs, doesn't really know what to do past that, her happily ever after. And now she finds this pirate queen who has it all. She's a mermaid, she has legs, she seems happy. How can she have that? And of course, it's a romance story that has a safe for work and not safe for work version. So hopefully guys could go check that one out. Now, moving on to some friends who have Kickstarters, and then we'll go into the top 10. So first is The Big Lie from Fair Square Comics. If you like Tintin, this is a different take on Tintin. That franchise and that public domain's not explored as much on Kickstarter, so I think it'll be a fun one to check out. Then moving on to a complete series, it's a trade, DEADSKINS. It's zombies, it's westerns, and again, and we'll talk about another one that's actually part of the friend group. But I love a good complete story, especially on Kickstarter. Just seeing that beginning, middle, and end, I think is really important for Kickstarter's ecosystem and comics in general. So to get that full story here, and if you like horror and a twist on horror, go check out DEADSKINS. Moving on to that other complete story, that is California Inc. This is a miniseries 1 through 4, and how about if California was incorporated? Is this a distant future or a close future, and seeing what California would look like in that way? And now moving on to the last friend Kickstarter, and that is Mysticconic High, issue 25. Speaking of series that have that 1 through 4 finished arc, another feat and another great thing for Kickstarter to see a series going on for that long that consistently has books coming out, fulfill all those books in such a speedy manner. Mysticconic High is what every comic person who wants to do an ongoing book should be to inspire to be, and to see that with 25 issues I think is wonderful. So if you like teens and Cthulhu, go check that one out. All right, going to the top 10. Number 10 for me is Postage Due. This is a thriller about the post office, about a postal worker. And what I thought was cool about this one was it actually took some inspiration from their real life job, their experience with postal work. Moving on to number 10, which is VK Chapter 1, Shadows of Vengeance. This is a webtoon-esque vampire story dystopia. I like the vibe of this one. I love when webtoon and especially genre webtoon can be on Kickstarter. I think it's a great space for it. Moving on to number 8, which is Sasha and Blanco, issue 1 and 2. I don't know if it's because I'm in like the feral and stray dogs mood, but I love when I get to see like cute animal stories, and this one seems like an interesting slice of life between these two sibling dogs that are hanging out with each other. So that is number 8 for me. Moving on to number 7, The Prince in the Basement. As you guys know, I love seeing queer storylines, and I am really happy to see that this series is doing so well. It's a fairy tale, it seems like BL series that is, I believe, in black and white as well, so it kind of has that manga style to it. So if you like fairy tales and you like a queer twist on them, go check out The Prince in the Basement. Moving on to number 6, which is Circuit's Seduction and Revenge, and this is from Devil's Due, so cool to see a publisher that's usually in the direct market utilizing Kickstarter. And what I like about this one, what I like to see with not safe for work books on Kickstarter is nudity with a story, and this one really seems like it has a good hook with a CEO who has these like sex robots who end up getting hacked and fighting against him. So it's a cool way to do the not safe for work storyline and really have a real hook there. So that is number 6 for me. Moving on to number 5, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have an all ages book, The Bubble Gumshoes. It's a hard-boiled detective middle school story that has a manga style. I think this is a great opportunity for kids to jump into it. I think it's a good way for kids who already like manga to get into Kickstarter, who potentially could just get into comics and see it's all the same thing, and I want to bridge that gap and see more projects bridge that gap. Moving on to number 4, which is Street Knights issue 1. You got me at Power Rangers and Digimon. It's a Sentai type series, teens fighting crime. That's all you kind of need for me to be sold. And the artwork was really solid for this one too. It just felt like it had a very distinct style. So that's number 4 for me. Moving on to number 3, which is Devil Girl, issue 1. It's a horror, not safe for work book, and it is about this girl who lost her girlfriend, and she makes some deals to get power and to get revenge. So it is your simple revenge story with some really interesting looking artwork. And yeah, the style just really grabbed me for this one. Moving on to number 2, which is, I believe you pronounce it Shai, the GATECRASHERS, which we've seen this book many times by Billy Tucci on the platform, and it's been very successful on the platform. And now it's teaming up with Lady Death for, again, an exclusive story on Kickstarter. I think it's just a smart move from a marketing standpoint, and love seeing that, the bleeding of audiences to let people know about multiple series on Kickstarter. All right, moving on to number 1, which is Yuri Comic Magazine Galette Special English Edition. I believe this has been on my top 10, maybe even my number 1 in the past. But I do love these Yuri books, and I know they're very hard to read in English, especially these kind of more side stories that are not really part of the main series, but you still want to read more about them. These are the biggest names in Yuri who are finally getting released in a real way for the English editions, which I'm super happy to see as just a manga Yuri fan, but also as a Kickstarter fan. And again, it goes back to it would be great to see the audiences that love Yuri and manga bleed into Kickstarter, and this is a great opportunity to do that. So that's my top 10. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite books of the month were. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Bye.